talk. The Bears have a very, very big game this Sunday. They're playing on prime time for week 2 against the Houston Texans, two emerging young quarterbacks in Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud. Well, I guess CJ Stroud, you can't even call him emerging at this point. He really is a star. So yeah, it's going to be a huge test to the Bears. And there's so much to dive into with just how important this test is for how well the Bears could do for the rest of the season. So, Sam, let's go first into our expectations for Caleb Williams heading into this game, on the road in prime time. How do you think he does compared to his, I guess, underwhelming week 1 performance?
Yeah, so I think definitely he will have a better game than the Texans. That's for sure. I mean, it was definitely rough sledding against the Titans. It was not what a lot of people expected. I do think there will be some ample garbage time against the Texans where he can get some useful reps. But there is a small possibility that we can just come out firing, which I could possibly see happening on primetime at Energy Stadium. I definitely could see him just walk onto the field and start getting the ball rolling, just making quick completions, getting it going. We usually have a tendency to do stuff like that on Sunday Night Football. So if we can start off hot, I like it. I think Caleb Williams will probably pass for if there's garbage time involved, I think Caleb Williams will pass for like 250, 275 passing yards, one touchdown, possibly an interception. And then if it's a close game, I think he'd pass for 300 plus passing yards. If Keenan Allen plays, Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze are both game time decisions for Matt Eberflus. Rome Odunze shouldn't play. I have no idea if he will. He might play and be limited, but I've been told that Keenan Allen will be active on Sunday night. What about you, Rami?
Yeah, I think, there will be opportunity for Caleb Williams to definitely air it out. And honestly, I think he should have more time against the Texans than he did against the Titans. Kind of mentioned this in the last podcast, but uh, I think the Titans had a really underrated defense. And I might go as far as to say that I think they have a better defense than the Texans, although and it's kind of
I
close.
don't disagree with that.
It's tough
That's
because
not true.
the thing you have to think about with the Titans is they have such a great interior rush with Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons, and I think
Yeah,
that's such a hard thing for the Bears to deal with. So maybe I'll change what I said. I think in terms of matchup for the Titans, I think the Bears match up worse against the Titans than they do the Texans, just because our interior is weaker, and I think Darnold Wright and Braxton Jones can handle the Texans' edge rushers and Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter. I think we can handle them better than we did um, Jeffrey Simmons, and I think Caleb will have more time. And the thing you have to realize about the Texans is their secondary is not
it's not good. It's not
like
good.
Derek Stingley is a fine cornerback. He's not. I don't think he's a superstar by any means. So if Keenan Allen plays, I think these receivers will get open. I think that they let up a lot of deep balls. The Texans do not handle the deep ball well. DJ Moore can definitely take advantage of that and exploit it. So again, I could go as far as to say the Titans' defense is better than the Texans, but I'm very certain about this, that the Texans will be a better matchup for this Bears offense than the Titans will be.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely think that the Texans don't have a very strong secondary. They only have what's his name?
Stingley?
Stingley and what's his name? Jalen Petre is good, but he's not crazy. I just think that we'll definitely find some ample opportunities to get Caleb Williams rolling. I think we have big chance at that. But we talked about how the Texans defense is matching up against the Bears offense, but I think one thing that's very important to know is just how good this Texans offense is. They have probably a better wide receiver course than ours. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. It is reported that Nico Collins, my wide receiver two on my fantasy team, is questionable with a head injury and or actually an illness, but he received a head injury early in the first quarter against the Colts. And a lot of people were wondering why he didn't get checked into the concussion protocol. So that's something to monitor. But regardless, I think CJ Stroud versus the Bears match up very, very well. I still think with our defense and secondary, it's going to be a big test. We can see if our defense is only good against bad quarterbacks or if they can handle a superstar quarterback like CJ Stroud. So I'm very interested. I don't really want to say that our defense will lock everyone up because I know Jalen Johnson will shut down Nico Collins. That's not a question. Like I should probably bench Nico Collins to drop me 0 points this week. Jalen Johnson's not letting that shit happen. And then Stephon Diggs will probably cook Kyler Gordon a few times, but Kyler Gordon will be covering him decently. And Tank Dell, same thing with Tyreek Stevenson. I feel like they'll both be switching off on Diggs and Tank Dell. I think they'll obviously be able to move the ball, but I don't think it'll be as easy against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I mean, this Bears defense, this is a huge test, like you said. Matt Eberflus, one thing about him, he's definitely turned this defense around. You could say that it's a top
He
5.
sucks.
All right, let's not get into that, but we could say it's a top 5 or 10 unit in the league, but has it really been tested by elite quarterback play in this like amazing run that we've had? I guess you could argue the best quarterback that we faced since we acquired Montez Sweat is Jared Goff.
Jordan
So
Jordan Love is the
or
best
Jordan
quarterback.
Love, yeah, one of the two. And this is definitely the biggest test. I think this is CJ Stroud is easily the best quarterback that we've played since we've acquired Montez Sweat, and the Bears defense kind of revitalized itself. So it's 100% going to be very indicative of like what kind of coach Matt Eberflus is, and I have pretty good confidence that this Bears defense will take care of business somewhat. I'm honestly really concerned about the rushing game, which is kind of interesting because like it's not a very talked about aspect of the Houston Texans offense. But Joe Mixon had like 130 yards on the ground last week, and he really did look like a revitalized version of himself. Uh, I really did not expect that, and the Bears defense run against the Titans rushing offense was not very stout. Like it was
Yeah,
pretty underwhelming. Tony Pollard was having a pretty good day. I think, when they're attacking that left side of our defensive line, so opposite Montez Sweat and Jervon Dexter, it wasn't a really good day for the Bears rushing off defense. So
and rushing offense as well.
yeah, so it just it really if our secondary can't contain the Texans, that's not the only job that they have. Like our defense really does have to lock down the run, and to see if that happens, I really don't know. I think Texans have a pretty great offensive line, and I think they're really good run blocking. So uh, with that, I think let's get into our actual game predictions. And Sam, we'll start with you. What do you have this final score being, and what do you have any bold takes about this game?
Yeah, so this is definitely one of the first times I'm gonna actually predict the Bears to lose. I never like doing it. I always find a way that the Bears can somehow win. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't think. I think it's too early for the Bears to beat the Texans. Like this is definitely a ginormous statement game, but I do think it'll be very close. I do think in this game, Kill Bones will prove he's possibly a franchise quarterback. If I had to come down to predictions, I think the score will be somewhere around like 24-20 Texans. Kill Booms will have one touchdown. Swift will have a touchdown of his own, and um, yeah, and DJ Moore will have a touchdown for sure. What about you?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. The spread on this game was about 3.5 or 4. I think it was 3.5. That was before week 1 when we played the Titans. The line is now 6.5 for the Texans. So somehow that Titans performance dropped Vegas's projection of us by 6.5
The
points.
offense didn't score only 2 points on a 2-point conversion. That's why.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like the offense definitely looked bad, but like a 3-point spread swing is pretty uncommon. With that being said, I think 6.5 is too many points. I'm gonna take the Bears to cover.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm gonna stick with Caleb Williams. I'm projecting him long term. I think he's gonna be an incredible quarterback for the Bears, plain and simple. And we're playing on prime time. He got his first game jitters out of the way. All the pressure was on him. Um, I I mean, remember this Titans game? Everything was weighing on it. We had to win. We were the favorites. It's first game. Felt like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. But you're going into Houston. Nobody thinks you can win. Everybody saw that bad performance. I feel like there's less pressure on Caleb Williams. The expectations have kind of tapered off, and I think he's going to have a really good game. And like I said, I really do think this Texans defense is a better matchup for our offense. So I do have the Texans winning, but I do think the Bears offense gets going, and I'm going to go 26-24 Texans. I think
good score.
this Bears offense gets at least 3 touchdowns. Caleb Williams with 2 passing touchdowns, and then we'll call it a Swift touchdown on the ground. And in terms of my bold prediction, I predicted last week that the Bears would get 3+ turnovers. That ended up working. It's not going to happen with the Texans. CJ Stroud is very good at avoiding turnovers. But I will say that I think both Keenan Allen and DJ Moore hit 100+ receiving yards. I think
That's
the,
crazy.
the passing volume happens this game for sure. That's
That's
my bold prediction.
I like that. That's amazing. And for my bold prediction, I think the Bears will intercept CJ Stroud 2 times. Once by Tyreek Stevenson again, the other one by TJ Edwards. Book it.
Thank you guys for watching. Bear down. Let's
Bear
hope
down.
we beat the Texans on Sunday night.